There are several skills in Essential for Living that are there because of individual children where I screwed up, and oh, it bothers me. One of my very first behavioral projects, I taught a young lady to respond to her name. Many of you have heard me tell that story of Janet, because she bolted out of the classroom and was headed for the highway on the second day of school in 1968, and I had to tackle her on the grass to avoid getting to the highway, where she would have had no regard for a car. And so I sat with her knee to knee, and I taught her with artificial whipped cream. I taught her how to respond to her name, very slowly. 4 years later, Janet died. She came back home. I was in graduate school, and she came back home one day from school. She lived in a group home. She was such a large person, the mother and dad had trouble toileting her. She had never been toilet trained. And imagine what the monthly period is like. If your mother is 5'2" and you are 5'9" and weigh almost 200 pounds, and that's the size of your mother, and the father wasn't much taller, how are they going to manage her? So they had placed her in a group home because they just physically and couldn't find anybody to come in the home to do it. She came home one afternoon after school, went upstairs before anybody realized it into the group home, went into the bathroom, turned the hot water on in the tub, slipped and fell in the tub and died of shock instantly. All because she didn't know the difference between the hot and the cold water faucet. And that skill is in Essential for Living. Boy, I wish to hell I'd have taught that. I could have saved a life if I'd taught that, but I didn't. And it was a long while before I never taught Janet a man either. Wish to hell I'd done that. But you can't look back. It doesn't help. You can learn from your lessons and dedicate yourself to doing other things. I'm on a mission right now to convince most of the world. In fact, Troy and I are going to the Verbal Behavior Conference in Austin. We're tomorrow. See? And if it's like it was last year, most of the other presenters will be researchers, young PhDs who are showing their new research, and most of it will be on higher functioning kids with autism, higher than the kids that we generally talk about, see? And then you think to yourself, and so I'm on this mission. I'm going to try to convince more and more and more people that verbal behavior is more important for these kids than even the higher level kids. When you don't have much of a language repertoire, the function of your language matters. It does. It matters a lot. And even more so than kids that they're worried about whether they can teach them joint control. Whether or not somebody who can hand you a fork when it's on the table in front of you, but can't go across the room and get 4 forks if you ask them. You know, it'd be nice if you could get that skill. Of course, that's an advantage. But you could sure as hell live without that. But you can't live without mans. I've told you guys this story that Jack Michael used to tease me. I think I told it yesterday. Why do we say it's all about mans? Because it is. Jack liked that answer better than the long one. Because it is. It really is.